but so many times we get excited about a dream and we go share it with other people who don't see the same dream because it
Absolutely.
wasn't their dream to begin with. And all of a
Right.
sudden, you start second guessing, is this right? Is this not?
Right.
But that book had planted a seed in me. And, what I also learned is that had I gotten into real estate then, well, one, I wouldn't have had the experiences that I did have. And so I thank God for those.
Right.
However, that same buddy, that same best friend that I have,
Right.
they're no longer just flipping homes. They're buying portfolios of properties, hundreds of properties at a time. They're buying apartment
Wow.
complexes and
Nice.
syndicating and working with large investment funds to take down properties. They're in development now. They're developing properties and communities up in Atlanta, up and around the Atlanta area now.
Wow.
So it's just goes to show, like, when you can take hold of something and focus on it, man, the sky truly can be the limit. It's just a matter of
Absolutely.
sticking.
Absolutely. And I think, stick to itiveness, I think for a lot of us, especially growing up, and we're in the age now of entrepreneurism, hustle culture, building something that's going to outlast you. I think it's a great time. It's a great time to get involved in real estate in some capacity. We have a very similar track of that got us into this career, Mike, and I think that it's powerful that you had the clarity at a very early stage, because it sounds like we're around the same age,
Yeah.
and so having that clarity, oftentimes you're right, when we share it with people, and I don't want to say that we share it with the wrong people, but we
No.
share it at the wrong time, right? Because sometimes you got to show them better than you can tell them, as we say
That's
here
right.
in the South. And
That's right.
so for me, I find that having a trusted individual that it hopefully is a significant other, but if you don't have that, it could be a mentor or someone that's doing the thing that you hope to do, and you share that plan with them. 8 times out of 10, they will lay the blueprint out, because usually people that are successful, they want to pour into other people, whether it's for karma purposes or sowing a seed and just being a blessing to somebody else. But man, I find so often that when I'm in the right kind of room or the right kind of forums, I was on Bigger Pockets for quite a bit before becoming licensed. And Bigger Pockets, if you don't know Bigger Pockets, y'all listening and watching, that is the #1 real estate investor resource website. They have a YouTube channel. I'll link their information in the show notes of this podcast. But engaging and just opening your mind into the possibilities, the book Rich Dad Poor Dad is definitely the gateway drug for
That's it.
90
The
something
one.
percent of real estate investors. And I'll link that book too in the show notes. But the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, for those that don't know, it's really not a book about real estate. It talks about, and it's a gentleman by the name of Robert Kiyosaki that talks about his rich dad and his poor dad, which there's still information out there where if he really did have a rich dad, he doesn't really say for certain, but it talks about how if you want to build wealth, you have to have the mindset of an entrepreneur. And so for you, Mike, I have to assume that you realize that there was upside from a monetary standpoint in a career in real estate being licensed, but you also essentially could set your life on your terms.
That's
So
right.
how exactly, when you first got into, because you got licensed in 2019? Okay.
I actually got licensed in 2000. In 2017, I got my license. Mickey Mouse paid for my real estate license
Okay.
because I was selling. Because I was selling, that's a unique part of my story too, right?
Man.
Because I was selling Disney's timeshare, I had to be licensed in order to sell it because it's considered deeded real
Oh,
estate. So
yeah.
in order for me to make my commissions, I had to have a real estate license. So it was transferable by the time I was done with it. I
Love
just
it.
was, yeah.
Thanks, Mickey.
Yeah, I appreciate that.